movie notes on the Adderall Diaries, 2015 film, 17 June 2024 viewing. I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, and I made a number of notes, like I typed them up as the movie was going, and so I did watch it all the way through, and so I was like, okay, I did my description of the movie, which I'll share, but then I also am just going to kind of go through my notes, because I wrote a fair amount, so instead of like drawing it out, I'm going to try and, it might not be verbatim because there's kind of punctuation errors and stuff like that, but it might be, but like, okay, point being, I'm trying to make it short and I'm making it long by describing it, so there we go. Okay, so it's a biographical film about the mistakes an individual can make in their personal life and life more generally when on the drug/medication Adderall. It is a film adaptation of a 2009 autobiography/memoir of the same name, The Adderall Diaries by Stephen Elliott. So, based on an autobiography/biography, so this falls into the, we're going to put this video in my notes on autobiography/biography playlist, as well as my movie notes playlist, like this video that I'm filming. And then, all right, so let's go into the notes. Amber Heard has beautiful long brown hair in this movie. Yes. It's kind of wavy too, but I was yeah. And that goes back to 2015. There we go. It's I would call it kind of like a medium brown. Okay. Okay, the next one. Relative to myself, I was thinking, okay, I was diagnosed with adult ADHD. I did not have child ADHD. I did have a friend who had ADHD when I was a child, and I had none of her symptoms. And like per what like we knew about people who did have ADD or ADHD when I was growing up, doctors were not concerned, nothing like that. But I did later in college, after my physical activity, I started struggling with that. Then I got checked out and diagnosed, but medication optional, and so I decided to go with medication for a few years, 2013 to 2019, so about 6 years. And I was like, I don't need it, and I've bounced back to be better than I ever was before the medicine or with the medicine. So I'm like, 31-year-old me, or over 31 years of age me, is doing better than younger me, both with and without the medicine, so that's kind of interesting. But I was like, what is, in the spirit of resonating with, you know, the guy who wrote the book and who's this movie is about, Stephen Elliott, what is a mistake? Or where is an area where I made more mistakes when I was on the medicine, Adderall, for my ADHD? So relative to myself, I made the most mistakes on assignments/exams in college when I used Adderall. Deliberately did not study /test with it to do better on my assignments/exams, which worked. And like I just remember this one test where it was really competitive, and I did like, you know, really outstanding, and I like the professor even said that and stuff. And I like remember I was like trying to play around with like, should I use it for exams or not? And I didn't use Adderall, and I was just like, why do I always do better on exams without my medication? So I started to like figure out, just use it for like certain aspects, but don't use it for like when it comes to a testing environment. I'm better without it, kind of thing. So some people do the opposite, right? They don't even have ADD or ADHD, and they use it kind of to cram for exams. And I'm like, but the person who has ADHD actually goes, not necessary. I do better without it. So that was one area where I made more mistakes with Adderall, was testing in an assignments environment. So I would deliberately ease off of that for those kind of activities. So, and then let's see, Adderall. Oh, I agree with the author. So this is, or author/who the movie is about. Adderall is not always the problem. It's something he kind of pushes and grows on, but then it is a problem, but it's also not like the sole problem. And I actually agree with that. Adderall is not always the problem. For example, if I had children with one of my soulmates, and homeschooled them, depending on who my soulmate is, such as Andrei Minikov, our kids may have a unique monopoly on the truth about each of us parents, especially if books, the internet, and schools teach something other than the truth. Way of saying this is my way of saying the movie got it right. Sometimes the problem is just people. All right, if there's a bunch of misinformation out in the world about me and my soulmate, and I have child and children with Andrei Minikov, for example, my soulmate, Andrei Minikov, and then we get to teach them the truth, and, well, this is where I get competitive, right? Interestingly, in this scenario, if the truth is necessary for survival, that may indicate my soulmates and my children are more likely to survive as they have learned the truth and not the lies / fictions other children have. Right? So in a competition environment where truth matters, those children that read fiction books or things painting themselves as biographies that are in fact full of misinformation, right? They approach me and they have to tell the truth, right? To get, like, appeal to me, for example, right? I'm not going to choose them. I'm going to choose the kid, you know, my kid that knows the truth, right? Not that it would ever come down to that. I'd always choose my kid over other people's kids. Yeah. But, like, the kind of thing carries of, like, there are times, right, even especially survival settings where, like, you don't know the truth. You might die. So those children are less likely to survive, right? Because they don't know the truth and they haven't learned it. And there's the unique monopoly of the people who are the parents going to be like, well, you get the truth from us. And since the misinformation still exists in the world, well, a lot of those kids might die if survival conditions came forward that favored the truth, right? And me and my soulmate, and the truth about me and my soulmate and our soulmates, right? Fortunately, this is not a problem, as the public have expressed no direct interest in the truth, right? Things would have been cleaned up long ago. I'm 31 years of age. Or it would get cleaned up, but it has not. Either way. This is my long-winded way of saying I am Team Stephen Elliott and support that Adderall should be a banned substance. I ran no personal best times when I took it. Yes. So for me, mistakes in testing environments cognitively as well as slowdowns in my athletic performance. So for me, yeah, ban it. I support that. Yeah. Some use Adderall for weight regulation. I did not. Smallest I got while using it 2013 to 2019 was a size 6. Yes, I am healthy and take care of myself. The smallest I have ever been is a size 2. I was chubby when I was growing into adult size clothing as a youth, so I was like a 14, size 14 in petites and a size 10 in regular clothes. I did not and have not ever cheated at pant sizes. That is when a person, for example, 4 feet 10 inches purposefully buys regular clothing instead of petites just to be a size 0. So petites are an entire, short people are so, you know, such an investment by the clothing industry. There's an entire different sizing system for them. It's called petites. But, you know, somebody who's a 4 in petites, it's like, I'm just going to wear normal clothes because I want to be a size 0. Right? That's a sign of, you know, extreme mental instability. They're not mentally stable. And that kind of cheating may carry over to their cheating on their partner in relationships, especially if they are a habitual pant-sized cheater, right? That they make that a habit and they do that kind of to shame those of us who are taller, right? It's a reminder that they probably do that, or at least could, are susceptible, already have a history of cheating in one arena and might carry over to their personal life as well. When I had a BMI of 18.6, which is the bottom end of healthy, at least it was at the time, I was a size 2. A doctor had me gain 23 pounds arbitrarily. She even said I was not underweight. Perhaps the appropriate weight gain minimum dosage for women of size 0, no matter their height, is 28 to 29 pounds. That's reasonable. If you want to be like me, go to the doctor and get your pant size up. Start gaining that weight. If you have ever been a size 0, congratulations. You are better than me at my over 31 years of age. I have not ever been a size 0 nor smaller. Hence, you are not my type. You are better than me. Okay. And then one last thing. He kind of brushes on the intro of the movie. It brushes on like reordering of memories, which is kind of an Adderall mistake. So I was like, do I have an example of a textbook reordering Adderall mistake or framing Adderall mistake? So my uncle has been sober for over 30 years. His current wife has not. So his current wife is not his first wife, was not his first wife, is a current wife. So there was this one family get together, and I had lost a bunch of weight because the doctors told me I needed to lose weight, and there's hors d'oeuvres or appetizers and stuff, and sometimes there's really high calorie food there. So I was like, okay, instead of eating like a bunch of calories during hors d'oeuvres, I'm going to have a yogurt and then have the meal after. So I had this yogurt for hors d'oeuvres instead, and it was like 140 calories, this yogurt, and so I had that instead of having like 500 calories or hors d'oeuvres and appetizers and stuff. So I saved room for dinner, but also ate something, and so then I ate the whole meal. And for whatever reason, she fixates on the story and tells it. But when she tells the story, the current wife of my uncle, she says that the only thing that I ate was yogurt. Right. So she lies, right? Deliberately lies. I guess I had yogurt and then a full meal. But that is not the Adderall mistake. The Adderall mistake, her mistake, is that she leaves out that she ate nothing. Right? So she's trying to frame it as I had an eating disorder, when in reality she was the one who ate nothing. Right? So it's the Adderall mistake because the person reframes it and reorders it to make it look like somebody else is guilty of the crime that they committed. And right, that she committed. Right? Janice Frank Dale. Right? Yeah. So, and she's kind of a horrible individual. We've brought that up. Goes back to 2022, documenting that on this channel. Right? She really bullied me and antagonized me, but continues to date, right, doing that. And that's a perfect story of that. It's an Adderall mistake, right? She's on Adderall back then. She takes Adderall every day, even though she has no ADD, ADHD. She's a chronic abuser of drugs. I don't support that, right? But she won't listen to me. She keeps berating me over and over. And that's an example of what I would call an Adderall mistake, right? Clean her up, get her sober, and maybe she won't make that mistake. I wish her the best. I do still suggest she seeks personal help, though. So my movie notes on the Adderall Diaries 2015 film, 17 June 2024 viewing.